your place of work, there's a particular service you are offering, and you're going to get a reward for it. When the reward comes, right, nobody can stop it or meddle with it. It's because that is what you put into the system. So if you need healthcare, your children need education, you are putting something in it, right? And therefore, they are taking something out. They are getting something out. We cannot really say we have that in where we come from. People put a lot into the pot. They don't get anything back. Nigerians, even when you are talking about when you're comparing us and the government, right? Some of us are part of the government here today. We work for government. Some of us work for, parastatals or businesses that actually works with government, right? But I would prefer we compare Nigeria in this regard, okay? Just about putting something into a system that pays you back, okay? The same way you work hard, there are those who work harder than you in Nigeria. The reward system is zero. Yeah, you get now. So that's why I said when people said we are slaves, this or that, it's just metaphorically, just to say we could become more if we have a working system for where we come from. You get what I mean now?
Yeah.
That we have You know what I mean? A lot of us are money, no doubt. You know, we are people where we say we come from a well-to-do family, but the system they build there is now threatening whatever it is that some of us comfortably enjoy then. So here we are. So, right, you finish that. I just thought I should put a context to it as well to say.
No, what you said.
You know,
what you said. What you said is right. You are just like trying to put me more explanation. But the thing is that most of them always think that we are slaves. Yeah, they always say it. I listen to some people say, I know rule and she long she rule on she but I'll make them understand that look, I prefer to be an Eru and to meet my needs in life than to become I'm not a Eru, but I can't meet my needs. Because I know
where we come from. Even where we come from, there's a popular saying. Now, when man they walk, now they're in the shop. That's what they call a workshop, right?
Yes.
So, you have to work to live.
Sure.
You need to do something.
Sure.
Now, the reward system from that effort depends on the society you are in or those who are running that society. And this is the imbalance. If now work, Baba, which work will they do for you? I wake up, I do 3 jobs, Baba. Have you seen those who are riding Okada in Nigeria? Or do you think Okada riding is easy? There are people who have been riding Okada for 10 years now. When you still see them, you just be like, man, God damn it, man. There is no reward system that pays them for that effort. It's just peanuts. So same way they work in Nigeria is the same way we work here. But there's a different reward system. Thank you so much, Frayo, for actually bringing it down. Okay? For context.
Yesterday it was just ringing on my head like, no, I've got my you're going to take it now. So it's like that. So thank you very much for more explanation. Thank you.
God bless you. Okay, you have a good one there, Frayo. So
bye-bye.
I have another caller. And here we go. Hello there.
Yeah, my God, this is Yola speaking.
Yola speaking. Hola. Yeah, Baba. How you doing?
Baba, I'm okay. Thank God. We're moving on.
Thanks so much, please.
We're moving on. We're moving on. I think I was triggered when you talked about innocence. I was quite triggered after that conversation.
What do you think about what I said, Baba? Come on, I like now small thing, but it's not a rocket science, or is it?
No, it's not.
If the entire state decided that we want to use car makers to change this country, I'm just not as one of the things you want to use to change everything. No, you can just make them like global competitors. You have the market overnight in Nigeria, you create the economy for it, and people will actually benefit from it. And it all revolves. You are an accountant, you do better than me, please, Adeola.
Call me an economist because I have a degree in finance and economics.
Right.
So you were spot on about in terms of sourcing parts from different parts of the world. There isn't any car manufacturer that has monopoly over any parts or any fitting or any precision engineering part. Nobody. Most of them design it, in their home country, then source for all the parts across the globe at the cheapest supplier. For the ones that have homegrown, industries that can supply more complex parts. Even the ones that can supply more complex parts will soon outsource that complex part to a cheaper destination that has a cheaper way of producing it. That's just by and by. Anyone that's talking about Innocent Motors being an assembly plant, that person lacks wisdom. No, it lacks wisdom.
Do people think weather's just going to like that?
I wouldn't even say lacks wisdom. I will probably put that person that thinks the innocence on a car maker is probably void of understanding. I think I'll just put it mildly. I'll just put it mildly. I think my own observation, for what you said, I think you were right, but it's even worse. What I say is worse. I go to Paris every now and then, and anytime I go to Paris, even I go to the outskirts, go to different parts of Paris, and I always take a survey every time I'm there. For every 10 cars that I see pass, I'll see at least 6 to 7 French manufacturing cars. Call them the Renault, the Peugeot. Those cars, those 4 manufacturing companies, you will see them. And if you gather those 4 companies together, you gather them into one box and you ask, how many cars do they manufacture in a year? Colleju 4.5 to 5 million law out here. That's even high on the high side. For a fraction of the population. So for every 10 cars you see passing on the road in Paris or whatever you see 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7.
Afford to buy French-made cars, France-made cars.
You will see 5, 6, 7 French cars. Then maybe the 7, 8, 9 one you see a Volkswagen, you will see a Benz, or you see a BMW. But consistently, you will find that they've secured employment. And if you look at the angle of the contribution to GDP of those 4 manufacturing companies, is immense to their GDP and also to their Human Development Index. Because GDP, for me as an economist, nobody really uses GDP as a way to capture the direction of any economy. Any seasoned economist will say, okay, yeah, it's good to understand what sectors are generating revenue, but in terms of really looking at what is happening, you look at Human Development Index, you look at inequality, you look at prosperity, all those things are the ones that translate. So you could say 2 of us now are making money. Let's say 2 of us are the only people in this country. Amaigo is making £1,000. I'm making £1. If we divide it, the GDP of that country is 500. But do I make 500? No, I make £1. But you make 1,000. So GDP never really captures in terms of human development and social, the social fabric or happiness, all those index. It doesn't really work out that way. It doesn't work out that way. You see, it's a statistical figure that shows us what drives different economic sectors. But in terms of the real contribution to the value of the economy, those 4 car companies alone, Baba, would change the game and is consistently changing the game. It changes the game because they employ engineers that will sit down, solve problems, and patent out those solutions. And those things are warehouse so much capital. So you are looking for a car that does X and Y. You have someone that's patented that idea that works for Renault or Peugeot, and that patent is worth billions of dollars. And that would go ahead and they would, manufacture, they will outsource it to China because the real patent belongs to the Frenchman or to the French company. It's warehoused in those companies. So if Innocent's proximity to lithium is unbelievably stupid, Baego, that's why I can't reconcile this nonsense. Innocent's proximity to lithium is ridiculously close. You can drive from Innocent's factory to the nearest lithium mine. So the Innocent's car should be electrified by default.
Electric cars, if it's possibly funded enough to use
if we wanted to go into lithium or cobalt or copper, because obviously we can't get all the materials for electric cars in Nigeria because of the resources. Congo has large chunks of cobalt, right? But in terms of at least lithium and the commercial deposit of cobalt, we can still do a lot of work, my ego. We can sit down, invest in people, which is the main source of our solution, human capital. I keep on telling people don't understand that, but because it is not a country, it doesn't follow that route. Normally you would think in a way whereby we have human capital, we have all the resources, so it should be it should be a linear thinking, whereby it's linear, 1 + 1, whereby it should go that way. But because we're not a country, you cannot, capture those things and use it for the benefit. So we have to keep on going back to that same problem. We have to break this system. We have to destroy this system. How can someone's child just die like that? Just the video you showed, and those people are working freely. That is
like utopia. Everybody, if you are from Nigeria normally, right? The shock we are experiencing right now is not because we are seeing this or hearing it for the first time. The shock we are experiencing mostly after years of not being part of that system anymore is that, so this still happens?
It still happens because you have a de facto army. People don't understand that Tinubu has his own personal army of those area boys.
Exactly.
Yes. Those guys are his army. You see, that's why you see the picture of Msolu on side by side with police chieftains. Informal and formal, pulling uniform. Informal and informal. You have former police, informal Agbero. So what are we trying to say? We're trying to say that this thing could be 1 + 1 is 2. You see my problem, my go, but because we have to have a new set of rules. We have to have a new set of rules for us to see any tangible development in that country. If you're going to keep on thinking that this administration or with Tinubu at the helm, or PDP or APC or any arrangement that is suspended upon that national constitution, we are just wasting our time.
Absolutely.
There is no progress as long as we still remain with those set of rules and with this current generation of leaders that we have. But maybe forget her. God bless you, sir.
So thank you so much, sir, for that as well. Okay, you have a good one, Adela. And that's our own economist, Adeola. Now, I do have another caller as well. Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Michael. Good evening.
Good evening to you, ma'am. That's our lady, Charm.
I even feel bad just even talking after Adela. When he talks, I just want to listen all the time. The guy is actually very, very intelligent. So let me go quickly. First of all, yesterday I was trying to highlight, how injustice is actually is a foundation within which Nigeria was put together. Maybe at the time it wasn't even an injustice towards one another, but the injustice towards the black man. The idea that the black man, there was a certain level that the black man could ascend to. There was a limit to where he could go and what he could do, right, and what he could achieve. So even the thought of us even self-organizing and having our own government and things like that were not the intention when that country was put together, okay? And even though at the moment we are all saying end bad governance in Nigeria, is there an understanding as to what the end bad governance really means? Do people understand that the end bad governance also means ending injustice in every shape and form that it has appeared in that country? Do people understand that ending bad governance would mean that the Biafrans will be given their land, the lands that were seized, were ceded into other states when they were carving it off for their own good? Do they understand that that is what end bad governance also means? Okay. That they will be entitled to have their own resources and manage their own resources. Do they understand that that is what end governance is also going to mean? Do the Northerners understand that end bad governance will also mean that people like the Fulani herders that killed people a few days ago would mean that the military will have every right to go in there and kill every single one of them, regardless of, this is my religion and all of that. That is end bad governance. End bad governance means that people in Yoruba land will be free to go and decimate anyone who is stopping them from living their best life in their own land. And I'm talking about the Fulani herdsmen who terrorists, they're not herdsmen anymore, who go out there and make life impossible for them. Do they understand that that is what end bad governance is going to be? End bad governance does not mean substituting another criminal leader for another criminal leader.
That's right.
It means that we're going to enthrone what they call it, justice in our land, justice in every strata, in our political sphere, the political elite. When we identify them, end bad governance ensures that they will all go to prison.
Yes.
And we will lock the key, we'll lock the prison, and we'll throw away the keys. That is what end bad governance is. People don't understand how that is what end bad governance is. Please stop. Don't waste your lives. When you start to understand what end bad governance entails, and you're on board with the Igbos having their own and what they call it, being able to have their own sovereignty, with Yoruba land having their own sovereignty, with the Middle Belt having their own sovereignty, and every land that desires. So if you please do not understand that that is what end bad governance should be about and what you're fighting for, please stop. Okay. If you understand that this is what end bad governance and you still want to go ahead because you know that there has been an injustice in that country, then please carry on. Now, to my brother who was saying that he's not a slave because he came here freely and he's enjoying eating like Oga, your own slave is even the worst. Our own slave is the worst kind. You see, our ancestors had no choice. I think to some extent, some of them were stolen, ripped from their families, and went there and taken there across the ocean to die. But you went freely. You came freely to this land. And instead, like other people have been talking about, we could have fought for our freedom, but no, we choose to come here. I'm guilty. Okay, I'm not holding myself. I'm not saying that I'm not accountable. We're all guilty, right? And I feel that there will still be, if as the sun, as sure as I am that the sun will rise, even if this doesn't achieve anything, one day, because like every slave desired freedom.
That's right.
And we as Africans, we are desiring freedom because we know we're not free. When just like Princess talked about yesterday, listen, I don't agree with Princess all the time, but you see, yesterday when she spoke my heart. She's awake. She understands what our situation is at this point in time in our lives. It's not generally even an African problem. It's even a problem of optics. Look at your Olympics. Look at the first 10 countries that are in the Olympics. How many of them are predominantly black countries? How many of them are predominantly black countries? It's optics.
They've caught up with you today. You couldn't escape from that.
Don't worry about that. But it's optics. It says these people can't do it. Let us try to understand what our problems are in life, right? Let us look at the big picture. Let us dissect it. Let's not just look at the surface issues. Okay, we can't eat. There's so many things that the world is telling us as Black people we are unable to achieve. We can't achieve good governance. We can't achieve a working society. We can't achieve anything. Even yesterday with, the story about the person who had to borrow a bicycle to run the same stupid Olympics, for goodness sake. What kind of optics does that tell to the world? You people can't do anything. We have to do everything for you. You have to come begging. But we know, just like Princess was saying yesterday, that we're not supposed to beg. We have the resources. We have the land. We have the people. We have the intelligence. We know all of these things. It's time we wake up. It's time we wake up. So that person who says he's not a slave because he can wake up in the morning and he has his money and this thing, wake up. We are the worst kind. Thank you very much.
They have saved more slaves. Only they knew they were slaves. Sham, thank you. You have a good one, okay? That is something you call the thought-provoking. Don't take it as insult, okay? Because as I said, metaphorically, it's like a metaphor. But these women are saying, no, it's not just a metaphor. Mayegun is real. We could have saved more slaves. Only if they knew they were slaves. So the word slave is so demeaning that a lot of people automatically become defensive when their act and all that are likened to that of slaves. But we are all guilty. We are. I mean, I'll admit, I know some of you have said that, but you really need to see the bigger picture, like Cham put it. It's not that you are a slave in chain. it is the fact that we are from the background where our forefathers actually fought war against what, against what they rejected. They died, they bled, they rose against horrible leaders amongst them, slaughtered them, killed them, brought about a new 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 direction, kind of like, or some of us just ran away. We just needed an excuse to get out of that place. And every of our excuse is genuine. I'm going away from this place. I don't want to die here. I'm going out of this place to go and get a better education. I'm going out of this place to. We all gave one reason or the other. Unfortunately, many of us have now reached, some of the things you used to dream about, you now have them. You want to become an American? Now you are. You want to be British? Now you are. You want to have all the comfort you want? Now